Hello, my name is Karen Zubak and I am the Community Forestry Director for Tree Trust. This is Diana Pryson, our Community Forestry Specialist, and together today we're going to teach you how to properly plant your containerized tree so that it'll successfully establish and provide benefits to you and our community well into the future. You'll need a few tools to successfully plant your tree: gloves, a pair of pruners, and some type of saw. Yes, I said saw. And make that a saw in which you don't mind cutting through dirt. You may also need staking material in the event your tree is unstable after planting. Alright, now we're ready to go. First, we'll need to take everything off the tree, all the tags and twine, anything that's on the tree. If you'd like to keep the tag as a souvenir, feel free, just don't leave it on the tree. Put it in a safe place. Another great thing to do before you plant your tree is take a look at the branch structure. If you see what's called a double leader, like this tree, it's a good idea to prune it out while you can access it easily. It's also a good idea to prune out any broken branches that may have happened in transport. Okay, now that our tree is free of tags and twine, broken branches, and double leaders, we're ready to start planting. Next, we'll remove the tree from the container. The good thing about these containers is they have some handy-dandy holes in the bottom of the container, great for leveraging the container off the tree without tugging on the trunk. Use these holes and another person to gently remove the tree from the container. If it just doesn't want to budge, you can also cut the container off the tree. You'll see once you remove the container that the roots tend to circle around where the edge of the container was, creating what's known as stem girdling roots. If left unmitigated and simply planted like this, our tree would do just fine for about 20 years, then succumb to strangling itself as these roots get bigger and bigger. This is where the saw comes in. Take your saw and cut into the root ball about an inch or so all the way around the tree, creating what's called the box cut. You'll essentially be cutting the circle into a square. It may seem counterintuitive, but I promise this will make the tree much happier in the long run. During this process, you may come across some larger roots that might get chewed up by your saw. Use the pruners to make a clean cut. The roots will be happier for it. Now on to the next most important part, finding the root flare. When you think about how you drew a tree when you were a kid, you more than likely flared out that tree at the bottom where the tree met the ground. Oftentimes, these trees are planted a little too deep in the container, which leads to the root flare being buried. Take the time to dig down and remove the soil from the top of the root ball. You may have to break up the roots along the way until you find the first pencil-sized root. We're also looking for some symmetry, so if you have one rogue pencil-sized root and a good flare system below, simply prune out that rogue root and consider that next level your official root flare. So you've found the root flare, box cut the root ball, and now you're ready to dig your hole. Measure the root flare to the bottom of the root ball. That is what the depth of your hole should be. Your planting hole should be 2 to 3 times the width of the root ball. Take the time to do it right. You don't want to plant a $100 tree in a $10 hole. Depending on how long it might take you to do this, you might want to soak the root ball to keep those newly exposed roots moist. Pack down the bottom so you have a flat, stable surface to place the tree on. Next, place the tree in the hole, lifting the root ball first, not by the trunk. A great way to measure your depth is using a rake or a shovel handle and eyeballing the ground level and your newly discovered root flare. When you have confirmed the appropriate depth, it's time to start backfilling. No need for soil amendments here. The soil that came out of the hole in the first place will work just fine. Make sure you keep your tree plumb, nothing worse than planting a tree crooked. When backfilling, try to avoid large rocks and clumps of sod. You can use those later on to create a nice berm around your tree. Little by little, backfill the hole, pressing down with your hand and alternating with a little water to eliminate any air pockets. Keep adding soil until the exposed roots are good and covered. Once you fill in your hole, be sure to keep the root flare unburied. You don't want to go through all this trouble just to end up reburying the root flare. Using the sod or any extra soil, create a berm around the planting hole. This will be great for keeping the water from running off on you and will keep you from having to dispose of the leftover material. Turn any sod chunks upside down to inhibit grass growth. Add some water. Planting is a shocking experience, which is why frequent watering following planting is so important. Next, mulch your tree. Mulch is great at keeping moisture in and weed competition out, but be aware of the mulch volcano. Think donuts when mulching your tree. Keeping the mulch at least 3 inches away from the trunk. Make the diameter 3 foot wide and the mulch layer at least 3 inches high. 3, 3, 3. Having mulch touching the trunk encourages fungus and rot and doesn't allow the tree bark to breathe. You'll need to keep an eye on the soil moisture over the next growing season. 3 years of frequent watering will set your tree up for success. Don't overwater though. Check the soil moisture with your finger every couple of days. If it's dry, add some water from your hose on a slow trickle. And voila! Your tree is planted. Congratulations! This video was brought to you by our Community Forestry Department here at Tree Trust. Check our website out at www.treetrust.org.